Hey y'all, and welcome to the Life After Podcast. I'm your host, Aaliyah Lee, and today I have a very special guest from New Hampshire, where we're both from actually, Heather.
603.
You know, big 603 or whatever. Welcome, girl, first of all, and cheers to you being here, because thank you for coming.
Yes, cheers to us.
Appreciate you. Yes, ma'am. Some follows on the socials and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button for me, please. Thank you. So, girl, hey,
Let's get into
it. So for the people who don't know, we're both from New Hampshire. Like you said, the big 603. So
Finest out of the state. Let me just say it again, and I hope we put some words. Finest out the state. And we just go, it's a fact. It's just a fact.
Stamped. It's really
we're going to tell them why, though, in like 2 seconds.
Okay, like let's just.
Well, there you know why. It's self-explanatory.
Yeah,
you're like we are.
Let's just get into
Never
it.
mind.
Like, yeah, let's just get into it. Like there's no debate. There's no anything. Like she said. Say it one more time for the people in the back.
Finest out of the 603.
Finest. Do not play with those girls. Okay. So actually, so we're both from New Hampshire. So let's get into how we even met in the first place.
So I mean, we both play basketball. Shout out to Scott Hazelton. Shout out to the rivals.
Shout out to the mass rivals or whatever.
We used to play AAU together. She was on the younger team. Sometimes we play together. You know, we practice together.
Okay, wait. So I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
So, because I only remember, my memory is very foggy. So I remember we played AAU for the rivals together. But so were you on the team above me, like a year above me, or?
Yeah. So, but you remember he kind of did his own thing.
Yeah.
So it was like sometimes he would just take the best players and put them all on one team.
Okay.
Or he would have actual age groups.
Right.
So at one point, I was on the older team, but then I feel like I don't feel like we were ever on the same team.
Right. I don't think so either.
Because it was always being mixed up. But that's kind of where we really met. We wasn't as close. I feel like just because like we wasn't on the same team.
Yeah.
So,
but I forgot about BCA.
Yeah, girl. Did we play? Wait, you went to St. Andrews?
Yes, but I don't think you were there.
But I definitely played when like Janae and. No,
I wasn't there.
Oh, you wasn't there yet?
No, that's
I probably had graduated.
Sure. I'm going to say, because I did a 5th year. So I actually did a 5th year of high school. You didn't do a 5th year, right?
I did.
You did? I'm like, did you?
Worst decision of my life. Let me just tell you now. If you decide to do a 5th year, make sure that you love the sport. That's all.
Heavy on that. I'm going to second that, because I also did a 5th year. And I'm not going to say I regret it, because I feel like I wouldn't be where I'm at today without it. But
true,
I feel like it was very unnecessary. When I look back, I'm like, that was definitely one of the worst decisions I've made, for sure. Damn,
yeah,
it's crazy.
I'm sure other opportunities, opened up because of it.
Yeah,
for sure,
100%.
Honestly, I don't think I would have been in Florida playing basketball if I didn't do the 5th year.
That's how I feel too.
So honestly, everything happens for a reason.
No, it really does. So let's talk about that a little bit. So talk to me about your transition from New Hampshire to Florida.
So when I was 19, I went to Southern New Hampshire University. The school was cool, but I just knew I wanted to get out of New Hampshire. Like, it was just time for me to go see the world. I felt very sheltered. I was only there for 1 year, and then I transferred to Lynn University in Boca. I love that school. It's very high tech.
Yeah.
They're sponsored by Apple, so it was really cool.
Sponsored by Apple?
Girl,
Woo!
We didn't need any books. We just had iPads. We was boop during class.
Okay.
Really, we was texting and playing games. But
yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I really did love Lynn. Shout out to Coach Hud. Still love her. But it was a really expensive school, and I was only on like a half scholarship. So, but regardless, my transition from New Hampshire to Florida completely changed my life.
For sure. Like,
definitely for the better. I think it helped me just learn more about my culture in general. Yeah. My cousins are down here. They're from Jamaica.
Oh, you cousins down here?
What? Yeah, so. Okay. And it's just, because if you've ever been to New Hampshire, we all know that it's like one race up there, and it was just like
most people don't even know what New Hampshire is.
A lot of people think that it's like
tell us about it.
People think that New England is a city. Maybe it's a region.
an entire, like, multiple states. Like, I don't.
So I just tell people I'm from Boston at this point.
Same here. I'm like, I'm just from Boston, and people that know I'm from New Hampshire be like, why are you lying? I'm like, listen, do you know what New Hampshire is? I bet you don't. So, like, let's not even get into it. It's so annoying. But there's not much to do over in New Hampshire, really.
No, like literally when I was there for that 1 year in college, there was college parties. That's about it. I
forgot you went there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, it was terrible. Yeah. Manchester.
I wouldn't say it was terrible because like the school was lit enough as like a community for it to be fun for my freshman year. I really did enjoy my freshman year, but I knew personally like if I was going to become the woman that I want to be, that I need to see other places.
I felt that, yes. I need to get out of here. I feel that. Okay. So what, actually a little bit into that, at what point did you realize like, that, not basketball, but in the sense of like, this is really where you didn't want to be? Was there something that like drove you to that point of like, not wanting to be in New Hampshire anymore or something?
Honestly, I would say, and this is going to get a little deep, but trust me, I've grown from my experiences like everybody does. I was a little bit, I feel like a lot of athletes go through some kind of depression throughout their career,
100%.
Regardless of what point you're in, like, you know. So it's like New Hampshire's already a cold state. So it's cold, it's no sun, and I just felt very depressed, and I just feel like I was not valued for my talent there, and it didn't also help that my dad knew the coach. I've been knew the coach since I was young.
Okay.
And so I feel like she was trying to test me, but that's just wasn't my coaching style. So because she was very old fashioned, and I just like, you know, she will always, no matter what, make sure that the older players are playing. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? And you have to prove yourself, and it's like, okay, but if you clearly know that I can, you know, get a couple buckets, then, why wouldn't you put me on the court?
Okay.
Like, and every time I did, I always made sure I scored, but I just knew after that, like, it was that little depression point during that where I was just like, okay, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I feel that too, especially when that cold, that winter
girl,
depression.
You walk outside, it's like
smack. You ain't even gotta walk out the door. Like, by that open the door, it's hello. Yeah, that winter depression is real. I feel that though because it made it 10 times harder. Yeah, it made it 10 times harder. So speaking of coaches a little bit, have you had? How do I word this? Have you had any? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait to ask that question before we get into Florida. So now that we talk about New Hampshire a little bit, talk to me about your experience with basketball in Florida.
So I was at Lynn University for 1 year. Loved it. I'm like, I'm never leaving Florida. However, that was the same year that COVID happened, or it was right after the season had ended.
Okay.
And so, you know, I'm loving my life down here, but then I also have to pack up and go home. And that's when I really knew that I wanted to be in Florida, because when I was home, stuck in the house for however many months that we were stuck, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely coming back. And like, no matter where I was, my mom's in Virginia, my dad's in New Hampshire, I wasn't happy. So I was like, let me go back down here. So yeah, that's kind of what it was.
Yeah. Okay. So after, do you want to talk about where you went after Lynn?
Yeah, so after Lynn University, I went to the HBCU. Shout out to them.
Okay.
Down here. And that, honestly, basketball-wise, was my favorite year playing-wise.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because...
Which is surprising, because we're going to get into it.
Okay.
But, you know, I was a captain of the team. I was playing pretty much every single minute of every game. Like, they looked to me for a lot of things. Leadership, you know, points.
Okay.
But, yeah, so that was the best year. However... there was a period in time where, you know, I feel like especially female athletes go through things that they don't address in the moment. So yeah, my coach was a little weird with me, you know, DMing me late at night, calling me when I'm out, you know, making comments to me during practice. And because I was in the position that I was in, I didn't want to give all that up. Yeah. I wasn't like, I'm not going to just throw away my whole, like, I have all this playing time. I have a free school. Like, why would I throw that all away for just, like, these little comments here and there?
Right.
Is this a male coach or female?
Male.
We can get into that conversation after.
So yeah, but basketball wise, definitely my favorite year. But that all ended very abruptly.
Yeah, I bet. So after that, it was done, and then did you? So was that your last year, or did you have?
No, I was actually a junior.
After? Okay.
Yeah, I had another year. So I guess we might as well get into it since we're already here. So that turns into like a whole case. What do you call it? Shoot, I forgot what they call it on college campuses. Not. Dang, I might have to look it up.
Like, I don't even know.
There's like, sexual assault cases turned into turned into an investigation by the school, and I just don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Title IX. It's called Title IX.
Okay.
So it turned into a Title IX investigation. And this was after the season was over, so we don't have to get into too many details.
Yeah.
But basically, we were having a meeting, like an end of the year meeting, and I had to go home because my sister was pregnant with my niece. So I missed the meeting, and that just turned into, I don't know what his issue was, but I guess it was reported, the things that me and my teammates have known about what he's done throughout the year. Somebody reported it.
Oh, so it wasn't even you?
It wasn't even me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm like, I came back like, oh my God. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I guess I might as well just tell my truth.
Okay, I guess. Wait, that's crazy though. So
I really feel like it was kind of unfair because I feel like it should have been my decision.
No, 100%. That's why I'm like, wait, hold on, because I remember even at the time of it happening, like the posts and everything when it hit social.
Yeah, so that's
I would have assumed that it was. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was not.
Remember that?
Me.
Do you know who it was? Obviously, we don't have to say
I
it, but
do, and I kind of do want to say it, but I don't want to get into the drama. So.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, if you do know of somebody, always ask them first before you go and report something, because you don't know how that's gonna affect their life. And I know that you know that I'm talking about you.
I know. No.
You can cut that. But anyways. So yeah, I got involved after the fact because I had to prove my point. Like, I didn't want to make it look like, oh, I'm out here saying these things and it was a lie. So I was like, okay, well, let me just show you all the evidence. And here we go. And then it was in the papers and all this extra stuff.
Yeah.
But honestly, and I also don't want to cause a problem with the school because they was very shady too.
Okay.
They basically paid me to shut up. I was going through it at the time. I couldn't mentally do like lawyers and all this stuff by myself.
Gosh.
So they basically paid me. So they paid for my last senior year, and that was it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was a lot.
that was.
Let me sip to that.
Yeah, let's take a shot.
That was a lot.
Woo.
What?
Yep. They had multiple sexual assault cases with the president, the previous president, and the guy who's in I forgot what it's called, in charge of all the sports. I just forgot.
Athletic director?
Yes,
okay.
Athletic director. They've had multiple sexual assault cases, even like way worse than mine. But it's like that's why they were so comfortable with handling it the way that they did.
Yeah, because
they didn't want another thing to be even more blown up.
Wow, that's crazy. So did that take away from? I'm assuming it probably did. Did that take away from your experience of being at the school in general?
Yeah, so like my last year, even though they paid for everything and everything was free, I kind of just stayed to myself. That was also very depressing because, when you're a junior, you're expecting to go into your senior year and, you loved playing.
Yeah.
And you were playing at that school.
And especially 3 years of all that hard ass work. Yeah.
Girl, yeah. That would be probably the hardest thing I ever had to overcome in my life, but I've really learned a lot. And it also taught me to just kind of figure out what I want to do. Other than basketball, because basketball wasn't my whole identity.
So real quick, your 5th year, you didn't play at all?
No,
you didn't play. I mean, your 4th year, because you didn't do a 5th, did you?
Not in college.
Okay. So your last year you didn't play.
No.
Okay, so then go ahead. Sorry, you were saying that led you into.
Yeah, it just kind of pushed me to focus on things that I wanted to do. So I got into modeling. I was doing influencing. I'm trying to think of what else. My whole major was so hard.
What?
I did computer science. I don't know why I chose that major, but I did.
Girl, you better than me.
Woo! But you know, it paid. It do pay. Yeah.
Yeah. And that means you got some brains, girl.
Girl, I was so confused.
I was lost.
I was confused.
So that was a little.
But I did it.
Okay.
I did it.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
You better than me, girl. I did 1 year. I said, I'm good.
Like, it's not for me.
No, I can't do it no more. Wow. So I know also, like, with me falling out of love with basketball, was there a certain point where before any of that had even happened where you realized, like, I'm more than basketball? Like, when was that time? Because, like, you said that a couple times, you knew that you were more than basketball. So when was it? Because I know one of the biggest things I've always wanted to speak on, too, with this podcast was that, like, being in the sports world, it gets so tunnel vision. Like, when you're in sports, it's like it makes you feel like there's, especially, like, with rivals and, like, the level we're playing at, like, it makes you feel like there's nothing else. So you can think, you don't even
explore or even look at other opportunities. Like, you're strictly basketball, scholarship, work hard on the court, practice, outside of practice, like. Yeah.
Like, and if you have a little fun, you're getting scorned for it. Everybody knows what you did. Like, literally.
You want to talk enough, but. Yeah.
Like, literally. Fuck, I just lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that?
He was talking about.
I'm getting there. Oh no, but I was saying, when was that point that you had realized where you were like, you're more than basketball? Like, where you kind of got out of that tunnel vision fogginess?
I think I'm very mentally tough as it is, so I kind of already told myself that from when it happened. I was like, well, for one, I was like, you have not enjoyed college or life since now, because it's always been like we're talking about AAU and basketball in college, because you're always traveling. You don't have time to go to parties. You don't have time to do this. So I took that time to really just be a college student. Yeah. And, meet new people, be outside. I was about to be outside because I hadn't been outside. But yeah, so I got that out of my system. And when I was graduating, I was like, okay, like, college is done. Like, playtime's over. Like, what do I want to do? And that's, like I said, I had gotten into modeling. But yeah, I just kind of told myself throughout that period when all that extra stuff happened that I'm more than basketball. That's what I just kept telling myself. Yeah. Actually, after all that, Beautiful Ballers. Yeah. Like, I've been traveling with Beautiful Ballers in different states.
So get into that, because they started posting you when you were at FMU, right?
They started posting me when I was in high school.
Oh, like from a while ago.
Yeah, but I didn't start working with them until I was at FMU. Okay. So they had me do an interview with Mikey. And dang, that's so bad. Trey, I think that's his name.
I'm not sure.
I forgot.
I'm not sure.
They had me doing interviews. We had a Miami takeover where we was just making content with all these beautiful ballers. It wasn't just basketball.
I remember seeing that. I don't know if I was living here at that point, though. I might have been, but I wasn't sure yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. But I remember seeing it, like, social media wise and stuff like that, for sure.
Yeah, so they brought all these beautiful athletes, volleyball players, soccer players, track runners, to Miami. And that's where I met my beautiful friend Lala, who also
shout out
played
to her.
basketball.
Yeah, shout out to her, because she's also giving me inspo for this podcast too. So
yes, she's great and natural. So yeah, and then we've been to Utah during the All-Star weekend. So yeah, it was like, it's a lot of fun, but it's really just about empowering women in sports. For sure. Just like coming together, and he gives you opportunities to get brand deals from all these other things and just kind of like build your own brand up.
No, that's dope, for real, for real. Well, shout out to y'all, because y'all helping the women out, so we appreciate y'all. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Real quick, when's that 30-minute cutoff? Are we good right now?
We got about 8 minutes.
Okay, because I saw you looking, so I wasn't sure. Okay, what we were.
I forgot. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say after the 8 minutes.
Okay, because I'm like, because we keep going a little bit everywhere. So
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So like, as a female athlete, like throughout the 4 years, or you said you played in high school as well, so 8 years, I'm assuming that you played sports, right? What's the experience of being a female athlete growing up and actually playing sports, you know what I'm saying?
Like, as a female compared to a male?
Yeah, like, what's the difference? It's like, what are some things
there's a lot of similarities, but I feel
like
we were kind of talking about this earlier, like, men use it as their whole identity. Like, a lot of men after sports, they don't know what they want to do.
They have no idea, like, not even a thought of anything that they're good at, what they don't even know what they like outside of it. Like, and honestly, that's not even just for men too. Women like that too. But I would say, like, in terms of like basics between, I would say, even just the game itself, I feel like the men's basketball is way more is way faster than men's, for sure. Just even that on a grand scheme, how obviously between our workouts and things like that. With women's basketball is one thing I wanted to talk about. I think the biggest difference is the emotion, because women are so emotional. Mm-hmm. So I've had so many problems where it's like, because I have a lot of control over my emotions. So I've had a lot of problems where it was like on the court, it was so much petty little catty ass shit. Like, and it was like, if there was an issue on I feel like the biggest difference actually between guys and girls is like, guys they can talk the craziest shit to each other and get off the court like nothing happened. Females?
Yeah, no, they gonna hold on to that until the next game, and then you gonna get an elbow somewhere.
It's something. You might get
a black eye.
Okay, like
on accident.
Everybody, like, for females, it's a lot more personal, and it's just a lot more emotional. So a lot of females.
Yeah, but I love shit talking on the court. It just turned me up. But I never started it though. Like, if you start with me, bitch, I'm gonna end it.
Okay. I felt that. I was like, were you an instigator?
Not really. Only if I knew you didn't like me. Because a lot of the times, like especially when I was at FMU, our rivals was St. Thomas. Mm-hmm. And the girls there, like, if they know that you're one of the best players, they already don't like you. And they're going to, like, they're going to double team you, do the most out of you. And it's just like, when I have my lick back, I got it.
Okay. But when I get my lick back,
I get mine though.
Yeah. So we're definitely like more emotion into it, more petty. Does that kind of answer it for you, or were you looking more?
What was you looking for?
Yeah, I was like, were you looking for like a specific area?
Because like in middle sports, you know what I'm saying, not to get like, for us it's like, like how y'all say it's based off, like, we kind of base everything off of it. And I remember being an athlete, it's like, every time it's like, oh yeah, we only speak about sports. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But like, y'all have like physical things that happen with y'all body that we don't have, that happen with our body. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like y'all workouts, like you feel mental, what y'all do mentally, like balance everything when it comes to sports. Cause like, like y'all said, we can argue and everything on court and then get off the court and be cool.
For sure.
For y'all emotional about it. So what is the best way that maybe a young female athlete could possibly balance out her emotions and mentals? What kind of exercises do she need to do to make sure that she stay mentally strong for the game and don't let that emotional shit get to it? Do you have any suggestions?
That's a good one. Just let it go. Like, it's easier.
Not that deep.
Yeah, like, it's easier said than done.
But looking back, I'm like,
go. Yeah, like, just that's my biggest advice. Literally, just let it go.
Because coaches, when they look at you, they don't like that. Mm-hmm. They want to see how you handle yourself through different scenarios throughout the game. Like, if you're on the bench because you had 3 fouls, so now you gotta sit. Are you like cheering your teammates on, or are you moping? Like, you gotta control your emotions. 100%. I feel like, and that leads into everything in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, your job, relationships. Like, you gotta be able to control yourself.
Mm-hmm. And especially being women, we're so much more emotional. So really, especially if you don't have a good handle on that, then that's just gonna create more issues. It's not. It's really not. It's just gonna create more issues within your game, and then also, like you were talking about, outside of sports as well. I would also say, never mind. That's about it. I would say for advice, definitely just
So when y'all get when they say like we're bench warmers for guys, like we don't get no PT, is it like the same effect for y'all? Like we kind of like get looked at different.
Yeah, it's
the same.
Like, but it's like girls will not be. I feel like guys are worse with the bench players. Mm-hmm. With girls, they're more motivated. Like, you got your chance will come. You know what I'm trying to say? If they're
more supportive,
we're way more supportive, and I feel like because women in general are just like. The team dynamic is different than with men. The men is more, you have to be more mentally tough in a sense of knowing your spot, right? And knowing your lane, and like being able to watch somebody, even if you think that you're better than them, like play, you know what I'm saying?
Like that's one thing too, men are so competitive. Even outside of basketball, men in general are competitive. But the masculinity, testosterone, all that. You guys are so competitive, so that's a lot more of that for y'all. Where for us, it's like where we can work together as a team way better. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick sponsor break, and we'll get back to our conversation with our amazing guest Heather.
Yo, it's your boy Jay Fresh Beats. We over here at wheuat Studios, man. You already know this is where it all goes down there, bro. We doing the events. We got A room, B room for recording. We got podcasts, interviews. We got Airbnbs. Everything up and running. Tap in with me whenever you want to book. You already know what time it is. Tap in, fam.
Hey y'all, it's your host, Aaliyah Lee. I just want to give a big shout out to all my supporters, followers, and subscribers. Keep tuning in on YouTube and all my social media platforms. Also a huge shout out to Shivery Productions, MJo, behind the camera, and also wheuat Studios. They got a little bit of everything you need, from Airbnbs to studio time, podcast productions, a little bit of everything. So definitely tap in and keep subscribing. See y'all later. Okay, and we are back. Welcome back. Quick commercial break. Another cheers before we get into this real quick. Cheers, girl. You know, what are we drinking? We're drinking Chardonnay at the moment. The brand couldn't tell you, but it's good Chardonnay.
The good kind.
Mm-hmm. So, we were just talking about this a little bit on break. We got into male coaches. Let's talk about it. So, as being a female athlete, having a male coach is very difficult, I feel as if. Would you agree?
I feel like the difference between a female coach and a male coach is females are already emotionally in tune. So they can kind of read your emotions and know what to say to you.
Especially when your coach has played basketball for real.
Exactly. Because they've been through that as a woman. I feel like male coaches, they just aren't emotional. They kind of try to make you mentally tough like a man.
Oh my gosh. That's such a good way to put it. I guess I've been trying to figure out ways to really put it, but like you said, they try to make you, it's just genuinely like
screaming in your face, making you do physical stuff when you do something wrong,
especially
running,
when what we were talking about earlier, we're more emotionally wired, so it's just I feel like to an extent they just don't
it's not they can't connect to you in that way because they don't know how to do it.
100%. I'm trying to, honestly, most of my coaches have been male coaches. I probably have had 2 female coaches, and they were the best coaches I've ever had. So shout out to Coach U. Did you ever, you know what I'm talking about, Coach U?
I remember Coach U.
Yeah, so
I love her.
Shout out to her. Shout out to you, Coach U, and also shout out to Coach B, I think we call her. I honestly forget what we call her. It's not our first name. So shout out to you at St. Andrews too, because I've only ever had 2 female coaches, and those are probably my best experiences. I don't know what it is. I think, like I said, it's just more of the emotional thing.
Yeah, just I feel like men who do choose to, or who are successful, coaching women, like Gino.
Yeah.
They don't put emotion into it. They allow women to be women, and they're not forcing them to operate in a way that's not their nature, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So, and I've never obviously been under Gino's whatever.
Yeah,
but, I've only had 2 female coaches as well, and they were always emotionally, they just were okay, well, you're on your period, get through it, but, still get to it. But a guy's what the fuck? What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't.
They don't care.
They don't even know what that means. They don't even know what that means, to the point where it thinks like you said, how it affects us and things like that.
Yeah,
for sure. That's what. Yeah.
But I would say the male coaches that I've had have always not. They've just never approached things the right way. Clearly, with what I said earlier. Just knowing how to deal with women in general. So just don't do it if you don't know how to do it.
Heavy on that. If you don't know how to do it, please just don't do it. And one thing that I've also realized too, I'm not going to get into this too much because it might get really controversial, but I feel like a lot of, especially on the downside of a female coach, I guess you could say, I feel like a lot of them sometimes will pick a player that resembles them in their younger self.
You feel like male or female? Or in general?
Honestly, in general, but more on the female end. I feel like they're a lot of times we have a favorite player or whatever it ends up being.
Sure.
I feel like there's a lot of the time where a lot of coaches sometimes I feel like put their dreams on their kids that they never. Some say they didn't get to the point that they wanted with basketball, right? I feel like a lot of coaches end up putting that pressure or like their dreams that they didn't reach on their kids. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and holding them to that standard, where it's like sometimes, especially when you're dealing with the whole team, not every kid has the same desire. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's something I've noticed too.
That definitely happened to me, and I love her as a coach. It just wasn't my style personally, but I just feel like because she would tell me stories when I was at New Hampshire, like, oh, like she didn't have a scholarship. She went to UNH. She had to fight for her scholarship because, you know, she was younger. And then once she fought for her scholarship, then she had to fight for playing time. And I'm like, it doesn't always have to be a fight. Like, it doesn't really have to be that hard. No. And it's like, I really don't want to work if I know I'm here. Like, I'm here.
Listen, it really doesn't have to be like that. Can we talk about that though? Because I was definitely, let's get into the type of player that I guess we are, or that you are as well. I definitely was the player that was like, I was never like a good practice player because I knew what I could do in a game. That terrible mindset. Not to say that mindset.
Yeah, but it's like,
that
you burn yourself out if you're constantly like game mode, game mode.
Yeah, true.
But I do believe in like working hard. Mm-hmm. But I agree.
Speaking of actions, since you just brought that up, can we talk about burnout? Because I feel like that is what also leads a lot of people to like what we talk about, like life after sports now. Yeah. So actually getting into that, getting back into you, after Florida, talk to me a little bit about your life, just life after, how life has been after sports in general. Like especially like one thing I really wanted to touch on was the first year. What I'm going through right now is like that first year outside of sports. Yeah. So I've been doing this one thing my entire life. I had the same schedule. I've been doing the same thing. I was always on a schedule. I was, you know what I'm saying? It was always something aligned for me or something already scheduled. And now that I'm not, it's like my world has just turned.
I wouldn't even.
It's a struggle. It's a beautiful struggle. But it's a
there's
struggle.
Beauty in it because 100%. That's exactly where I was last year, and I just feel like you clearly knew that you had more potential in other areas because you didn't. I mean, because you stopped, right? Like your sophomore year. No,
so actually, I did my freshman year at Berry, and then that was it. So literally the summer.
Like, you just knew you were done.
I knew I was done. I've actually known that I was done with basketball since my second junior year, because I did 5 years. So my second junior year at St. Andrews, I knew I was over it. I just knew there was so much more. Like
there's so much more. Yeah,
things. There was a lot more I wanted to do outside of it. So that's when
I feel like
that happened for me for sure.
With women in general, like it's in our nature to, like, when something you know isn't for you, you're not gonna just stick it out and just like, you know, torture yourself to finish it. Literally. Because I always know my dad always told me. Yes, but yeah, my dad always told me, he was like, always finish what you started, and I feel like that is very important. But I feel like in terms of basketball, there's so much other things. Like, you're not just a basketball player.
100%.
So in that aspect, right? Say for instance, y'all did make it to the WNBA. You know, what's the foresight for someone coming out of college that's a woman that's going into the WNBA, as far as like, you know, how much you're making your income wise, and, you know, when it comes to the media and all that good stuff, and advertisements and brands, even like, you know, being like a star player, is it kind of like the same? I know it's not equal to the NBA. They make millions compared to what y'all make. Right. So is there still like a sense where like y'all still got to go home and like y'all still the mother at the house, may have a side hustle?
I feel like it's a lot, because I feel like I personally, as a woman, want to like live in my femininity, and I feel like a lot of women talk about that. And I am very competitive when I play basketball, but that's like the masculine side of me, and I just felt like that chapter was over. But I did have the opportunity to go overseas, but I was like, I'm done. I was burned out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So talk about that a little bit, I guess, more in the sense of burnout too. So you said you had the opportunity to go overseas, and
I was like, one, I don't want to go overseas because I'll be isolated again. Yeah. Like in a different country, I don't know anybody, probably won't speak the language. Like, and basketball would still just be like my life. And it's like, I felt like I would just keep pushing off my real purpose if I kept playing basketball knowing that it wasn't like what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
What's the pay like in that WNBA?
Not like that big.
Yeah,
like what's the? Do y'all know the numbers?
I don't know the numbers, but I know it's in
I knew the difference.
They get more money from
like
overseas or their sponsors.
100%. But now not that I don't have any regrets from not playing basketball anymore. But the only thing now is that NIL.
Let's get into that.
That girl.
Let me tell you, literally the year that I stopped playing, like my senior year, they was like, oh, I think it's a great idea for everybody to get money for their name. Like, and I had followers on social media, like since high school. Mm-hmm. Like I could have had so many deals.
And honestly, with that stuff is 10 times easier for females.
10 times easier because there's so many different things that you can do with it.
Like so many
modeling,
so many different things. So that's one thing where I'm like, I gotta get that bag.
That definitely hurt my heart.
Bag. No, it did. I was like,
you have time. You can do it. You really can.
I can't do it no more.
But it's not worth it. Like,
it's just for me. It's just genuinely not.
I couldn't even see myself back in a setting like that.
I don't know.
Like a college team setting. Like no.
I don't know what
Waking
it is.
up at 6 a.m. No.
Are you crazy? Are you crazy?
I did my time.
Time did. Cheers to that.
Cheers to
that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so another thing we're getting into now. So actually, let's skip to where. Okay, so when I moved to Florida after her. So when I committed to Barry and everything, like, because I was actually originally committed to FAMU.
I remember that.
A whole bunch of bullshit happened. Whatever.
That's so annoying.
Ended up coming to Barry. But I'm honestly so blessed that happened because if I was out there, I would have been.
Would you stay up there? You wouldn't have came out here?
Are you crazy? What?
But family is
no, for sure. But the school environment is, but nothing outside of it.
Yeah,
that would have drove me crazy. And because I'm already playing, I would have been hooping all the time. So you know what I'm saying. So that's why I was like, I think it was meant to be that I ended up coming down here anyway.
There's always a reason.
Anyway, you know. So like I said, when I moved out here, that's when I realized. And then the first time we met. Not met, but the first time we like saw each other when we were both out here at this point was.
You came to my job. Star.
That was the first time?
No, the first time.
No, because you weren't working at.
We were outside. We was at a strip club. We were at a strip club, and we.
It's like other sports, you know what I'm saying? We be outside. And just
we were just seeing what Miami was like. You know, King of Diamonds.
Also, that's another thing that. Going to school in Miami is not
for the week. You have to have your head on straight.
It's not for the week, and it's also a very just a completely different college experience. I feel like compared to like other colleges that I visited.
Because my college experience is Miami, not just the campus that I'm on.
It's Miami.
It's the whole state. It's whole South Florida.
If I didn't have to be on campus, I was not on campus.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm. That's a whole different experience. And then I feel like that's probably another reason why we both ended up staying out here after decisions were made. So speaking of, back to where we met. I can't already, not met, but where we
reunited.
That we reconnected was that first night when I came to probably.
Yeah. And she had us take a photo together. We was like, oh my God, let's hang out.
Never did. Just be saying shit. Just be saying shit. Never did. No, we really were.
But it's always love when you see each other.
100%. But we both actually ended up like after we both have been done with sports, we ended up in the same field, I guess.
Yeah.
So
bartending.
Yeah.
You know.
So do you want to talk about that life a little bit or no?
I feel like that's the first thing that when you're in a Miami environment, like that's like the easiest and the first thing to go to, especially when you don't know what you want to do yet. It's fast money, it's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to work half the week.
3 days.
And I kind of I feel like use bartending as a way to just like stay down here and at the same time figure out what I want to do, and it gave me that time to do it as well.
And also the finances to do it as well, because
do what I want. I've been traveling.
Girl, what?
Girl, I've been all over the country.
We haven't gone.
Thailand.
You especially. You've been.
People feel like, damn, you like, I was just at home. Like, yeah.
Mind your business. So yeah, let's talk about it. So like we were saying, after sports, like me and her have both really gotten into bartending. I also do a little bit of bottle service as well. It really is just like a very good. That's some advice I'm gonna give to y'all like outside of sports, females especially. That's definitely something that's an easy.
Do it while you're young.
Especially while you're young, because
I'm not gonna be 30 doing it, but since I'm in my 20s, I'm gonna take the advantage. Like,
I was about
of
to
course I am.
not too much on the. I'm not gonna get into. I'm not. You know.
Don't make it like your life career.
Yeah, don't do that. Please don't be the older people in the bar. But definitely try it out, especially while you're young. It's a great thing to do. It's fun for sure, and that's definitely been one of the things that's definitely kept me like somewhat going. And
I feel
like
very
stable. Yeah, like
and I just feel like I have a very open schedule to live life, and at the same time, like, just always make sure that you're focused on what you want to do, like, outside of that, because I know I'm not going to be here in like a year or two.
100%. What's something, to get into the question you were asking earlier, what's something that you think playing sports has impacted in a positive way in your life, like life skills or anything in that?
I feel like basketball taught me, I mean, this is like cliche, but just like how to work with other people, all different types of personalities.
I feel like that's one of the biggest things too that like a lot of people don't speak on, because it's not like, especially in the outside of basketball too, like the amount, even working in a bar, like working with people and things like that, I feel like you just gain a lot more patience. For the people, you know, you just have a lot more patience than the average person would in general, and you're also used to getting screamed at all the damn time. So you know, like you know, fucking screamed at.
You can do whatever you want. I'll still do my thing. You can talk to me however you want to talk, babe.
And I'm still do my thing. You can stay mad.
You can walk away. Like, I can handle it. I'm not fighting.
Heavy on that. I'm just saying. But what I hate though is when people take that for weakness.
Yeah, a lot of people do tend to say that I'm nice, like very nice,
like too nice. But it's like, you get that a lot too.
Yes.
But I'm like, it's not even the case. I'm not gonna go. One, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. And two, there's just no reason to even get into it that deep, because it's not even like.
Yeah, like why? I'm gonna sleep great tonight. I'm not thinking about the conversation we just had that you didn't like.
No, for real. Half the time it's your problem. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Yeah, that's crazy. But anything else in terms of life skills that you think basketball has?
I feel like that's definitely the main one. I would also just say through my own experience, just getting through hard times, like things that don't go your way, because it's not always going to go your way.
100%.
And you just kind of have to look at the positive side of things, or like what God is trying to teach you through that specific, you know, lesson. And I just think that's it. Like, just being positive about it, because not everything doesn't go your way.
For sure. And that's one thing too, I feel like with basketball, there's so many emotions in it, the highs, the lows, and everything like that as well, where it's like,
don't have expectations. That's number one.
Don't have no expectations at all. So yeah, as we start to wrap it up, I just have one more question. I want to say thank you again for coming today. But one last question is, do you have any, especially in women's sports, I want to make this podcast, this episode especially, I want it to be very women's sports dominated. So do you have any words of advice to women out there about life after sports, or even just life through sports in general?
I would say for any athlete that is currently an athlete, just make sure that you're secure with yourself. Speak up if you feel uncomfortable with anybody, your teammates, your coaches, your athletic directors, physical trainers. Keep an open mind, you know, don't be so close-minded in terms of your own skill, you know, like be open to different positions. Yeah, just being positive, have a good attitude. And then after sports, if you don't know what you want to do yet, that's okay, we're young. You know, your 20s is the time for you to figure out what you want to do with your life, so don't feel like you're in a rush.
For sure. Heavy on that. That's my last piece of advice. We live in a generation where it feels very rushed to be at a certain point, or to be to figure out what you want or whatever it is. Please do not fall into that and stick with yourself. Your time, when your time will come. When it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. So please just continue to follow on that. But yes, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Baby, it's so nice to see you.
Yes.
We were waiting to do this for a while, so I've been telling her about it. She said yes from the jump. So
I've been waiting.
Yes, ma'am. Cheers to that.
Cheers to you.
Baby. So that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for listening. You all guys can listen on Spotify and watch on YouTube as well.
Mm-hmm.
They will all be linked. Big shout out to Fuck. I'm never going to do that part. We Use Studios.
Where you at studios?
Where you at Studios?
Here.
Okay. Where you at? Another big shout out to Where You At Studios. Shout out to y'all for giving us the space. And another huge shout out to Shivery Productions. Thank you for the man behind the camera, Mr. Shivs.
Ooh,
Mr. Shivs. That's
Shivery.
Now that's my nickname for you. Do you like that or no?
That's fine. That's all
You
on
like
you.
it?
That's all on
What you
you.
said? I was like, Shivery. We took my
That's all on you. You got it.
That's my new nickname for you now. But yes,
Yeah.
big shout out to Shivery Productions and big shout out to you behind the camera, big cameraman. And yes, thank you guys for watching. Hit the subscribe button below, please. And we'll be back with another episode soon. Thank you. We're out of here. We out of here.